What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the race spec F1 Esports, the F2 Pacific Series here for season number 2. We're here for round 7 here at, you probably can tell from the bottom left of your screen, here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. As we're about to set off now for our one and only one-shot qualifying lap here around Silverstone here. Now, fun fact here, I actually did some practice before we raced around here. So, hopefully we can continue on a good run, which we had. If you haven't seen the last video around Austria, then I highly urge you to go check that one out. Of course, there'll be probably a link at the end of the video, at the end credits, if you want to see it. And plus the whole, if you missed the whole season as well so far, then they'll be there as well. But, yeah, actually had a decent practice. And this is a track that I've actually had some experience at for a change. Probably, obviously, on the opposite console on Xbox. But, hey-ho, it's something decent enough. So, we'll see how we go here. And hopefully, like I was saying before, continuing this good run that we're having. Well, it started basically the last round where we had some decent results, getting some, at least first couple of points for the first time in a very long while, probably since I think I said Bahrain the first round. So anyway, we're coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Nice run through here. Not the ideal run through, to be honest, through Maggots and Beckett's. I probably went into this a little bit too deep there, coming at the end there of Beckett's. But anyway, down the hangar straight we go. We're set on 114. No, hang on, let me see if I can get this right. 113.274 as we try and tackle Stowe. Missed the apex here, not trying one of our two wide. And now he sized up the final couple of corners here before we bring it onto the front straight here. Lock up the left front a little bit. Now through Vale. And now to the final couple of corners. It's actually a pretty decent lap. I was pretty happy with it so far. Across the line, it won't be pole position because that's gone to Crossy by the looks of things. But it actually felt a decent lap. And you're about to see here in a second. It was, because we qualified P4 on the grid. Crossy gets the 4 bonus points for getting pole position ahead of Toddy in P2, Plevs in P3, and ourselves in P4. And my teammate actually made it a double top 10 for the MP Motorsport crew. So the GO team, you could say, is on the rise a little bit, as see down the back, Spilly and James Cruz, but the only 2 that got disqualified. So probably not ideal for Spilly. He'll have to make his way through the field. But now get to the race strategy-wise. Clear skies. No rain forecast, put it that way. A little bit overcast, but it was interesting to see what strategies people were going to start on here. I was originally going to start on softs and then go to the hard combat tyres, but then I checked the race director and I saw the first couple of 2, both Crossy and Toddy, were both starting on the hard. So I made a last-minute decision to actually change onto the hard compounded tyre and again go onto the softs. Later in the race, which I think nearly majority of the top 4, the other 3 guys in the top 4, and including ourselves, will be starting on the hards. But there's the championship standings.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap.
Thank you, Jeff. As always, setting off for the formation lap. I think we're P16 in the championship, but we did get our first points in a long while, like I said at the last event. Is a 40-point gap at the front between Toddy and Spilly, I think it was, in the top 2 positions. I may have got that completely wrong, but it was a 17-point margin between the Sauber Junior team and the UNI Virtuosi team. So it's pretty close, and we're obviously P9 in the constructors at the current moment. So if the qualifying form was anything to go by, then hopefully we may have a decent race on our hands. If you just keep it clean, usually the first couple of corners around here can get a little bit messy. So let's, fingers crossed, let's hope we can get through to the first couple of corners unscathed here as we're just waiting for everybody to ready up. BK is almost done. There we go. So we're all set for round 7 here at Great Britain. 5 red lights. Long hole, but let's do it around Silverstone, and we get a good start off the line here. Rossi doesn't quite go off the start well there, as into turn 1 we go. It's a bit close between those 2. There's contact. Toddy's gone around. Well, there's been contact as well from behind. We've been half spun. Somehow we managed to avoid the wall. Trust me, I was putting my foot on the brake pedal, just hoping and praying that I would not end up in the wall, but all of a sudden, all our hard work's now gone down the drain, and we're now in P16. second last in this race already. But there's still a long race to go, and I was on the right tyre compound. If I'd I'm probably glad I actually started on the compound of tyres. If I started on the softs, well, this would have absolutely screwed me here. But we're not out of it here. We're just trying to catch up to the group, the front group again as quickly as we possibly can. As there's yellow flags ahead as we go through Maggots and Beckers, which a few guys look like they've been caught out here. There's one, there was Dr. Dre there on the right-hand side in the Prema, and Toey said Rudy NZ in the Carlin entry that have both had a bit of a drama, I think, coming through Maggots and Beckett. So there's 2 free spots there up into P14. That's just me warming up the tyres there. So we're up into 14. There's a bit of a battle brewing just in the foreground there. Someone's going very, very wide there. We're doing the exact same thing. We pick up a first track limits warning of the race. So and also Britain is also well known for a little bit of track limits if you get it wrong, especially as someone else is way off. It's Pure Gold, who's way off at turn 1, nearly in the same spot that what happened to me. But James is literally all over the shop here again as we go up the inside and make sure we don't collide him. He was a little bit worried when that proximity area got close to me there. I was thinking he was going to collect me, but thankfully he didn't. We'll bring up some replays in a moment or two to show you exactly what happened there. But we're now back up into P12 now. As false equations go off for a half spin and ended up in the wall. I think he may have some front wing damage. That won't be ideal for him. We pick up a second track limits warning, so we're already 1 away from picking up a first time penalty of the race. But we'll skip ahead here to a bit further on in lap 3. We're coming through Maggots and Beckets again. Seems to be a hot spot for this race, but we're making some good time at the moment here. But you see as well, Toddy behind is actually starting to close in here. As we leave the door open a little bit there, I wasn't really going to hold Toddy up because he's usually pretty well a demon in this car. I don't know what it is he loves about this F2 cars, like I've mentioned before, but side by side we go with Pure. There's just a slight bit of contact. No harm done, so probably was maybe a little bit annoyed at the time, but there was no harm done whatsoever, so we got away with that one. So we're now dropped back to P14, but remember Pure is also on the soft compounded tyre, so he won't be on that tyre for too long. So have a look at the start. So Crossy from a pole position gets like I said, I didn't think he got away well, but you said there was a little bit of lag there as well, and there was a little bit of close contact there. Can't really tell from Crossy's point of view there. So but someone actually made decent moves. Actually, Iceman behind here in the ART entry. He's obviously on the soft compounded tyres, like I said, so he's trying to get a great start and hopefully maybe pull out a gap behind before the soft tyres wear out. And he does take the lead here coming through Cops. No, not Cops, Luffield, my bad. I was a couple of quarters too early there, but I don't think it's lasting too long as they both run wide a little bit. Well, Iceman probably run a little bit more wide through Cops, but Crossy will take the race lead back. It's coming through Maggots and Beckett, but not the ideal line, but he does manage to hang on for the time being. But for how much longer? Well, probably not long here, coming down the hanger straight here as into turn 15 here at Stowe. Gets the move back for the race lead for the time being. His battle also behind here. We'll get to those replays in a moment or two. I think Iceman has the lead for now. So as Crossy goes for a nearly half spin, coming through the final couple of quarters. That's lost all the momentum there to Iceman, so he'd be glad to get away very quickly here, as I think it was BK behind. But let's have a better view here on board with Plevs here from the start. So it's a nice start as well from Plevs. It was pretty even, I think, from the start for both of us there. So let's see what happens here. There was a bit of lag there, and just caught the left front and the right rear. That was between Crossy and Toddy, and unfortunately Plevs pretty much finished off Toddy there in the end. So that's really unfortunate there. Is up. Oh dear, there's a bit of contact there. There's iconic Hui, and I think I apologise if I got the game tag wrong there, but in the other Dams entry, but he managed to just avoid get in front of BK for the time being. But won't be for too much longer, I think, because BK is also another one on the soft compounded tyres, so should be pretty speedy at this early stage. Going to go around the outside here at Stowe. Plevs all hanging in here for the time being. He'll get the better drive out of the corner. He does get P3 for now, so as Schmitty has a little look up the inside there into the final couple of quarters at Vale, and there's Crossy having his moment of course, but there's all Plevs getting very sideways off the final quarter there, so that lost him all the momentum there. And Schmitty will get a run on him here. Pure Gold's trying to find a way through here as well. As they managed to get... okay, so that might explain what happened with Pure Gold. We might try and grab his replay in a moment or two, but is another replay of what happened at turn 1. So like I said, it was sort of like the left front of Toddy and the right rear of Crossy got caught up there. But yeah, I don't know what happened to me. I felt like there was definitely contact behind me, but I don't actually know who was the one that actually put me in a half spin there. But yeah, it was very weird. I was obviously not happy at the time because, you know, starting P4, best qualifying position of the season overall. But anyway, we'll go back to Pure Gold in P15. I think he's hoping for a better start on the soft compounded tyres. Does have live com as well. We'll get hear some live chat as well.
Oh, you lagging.
No!
Come on, man. Give me space.
Fuck, man!
You're lagging, Savvy.
Was I?
Yeah, real bad. I think caught both of us
Dude,
out.
what the fuck's Philly?
So Toddy, you can probably tell, is not overly thrilled. And, you know, when it goes pretty horribly wrong there when he has a bit of a voice break as well. So
Schmitty, I started fucking last.
you see the Dams are really starting to pretty much attack Schmitty here, trying to get back at him here. As there goes Schmitty up the inside of BK, nearly trying to go for 2 for 1 there.
Fucking one on the first fucking lap.
It's Toddy again, not overly happy at all.
Oh, that's the first lap.
So anyway, don't worry, Toddy's got the pace here. Maybe hoping for a little bit of a safety car. Here's nearly both the Dams here going side by side here.
Don't try and pass me here, you fucking idiot.
Pleb's getting a little bit heated there with BK. I think he was not happy with BK going around the outside. As both the Dams, yeah, might have been a bit of a help there from Schmitty, but Pure Gold does get the move on iconic Q.
Because of fucking safety car, you fucking dog.
Toddy's still not happy. Pretty angry. It gets a little bit heated under the collar, does Toddy there. So I think that was the reaction from Dr. Dre as well for what happened as well. So here we go aboard with James. Back from pretty much the rear of the grid for James because he was one of the ones that got disqualified as well as Spilly. It's a bit hard to tell really because there's proximity of Ross there in the ART. There's quite a bit of lag there on James's point of view. As obviously you saw my half spin there as well. Probably one of the first times, I think, I don't know if I mentioned it, I don't think it was in the last video, but probably one of the first times, actually, we've probably had 2 Rosses in the same lobby. Probably the first time I've ever said that, but there's James making some moves there.
Pretty slippery.
And as you can see, well, this is the replay on board with Pure Gold. Schmitty nearly went 3 wide there. Let's see what happens to it.
Oh, Schmitty,
No.
Oh, no, where to go?
Probably a little bit awkward one, that one, but
Are you alive?
Pure
Pure
had to go straight through the gravel, and okay,
Matt got loose coming out of that corner, man.
gets a 10-second time penalty for literally nothing.
That's fucked my race.
Nearly lost it.
So that's pretty much screwed it. Look at
What's going on here, James? Go the fucking road.
that was pretty close, I've got to say. It's crossing in very, very sideways as well, coming onto the hanger straight here. And this is BK, like I said, another one on the soft compounded tyres. Iceman's pretty much bolted here. It's further up the road, nearly, 3 seconds, I think it was. But BK does get up the inside at Stowe and does get the move done. Does Crossy fight back here into the Vale? But no, not quite close enough here. So BK now up in the 2nd place here.
Lucky boy.
So back we go to Pure. Trying to get back through the field as quick as he can. Obviously,
Are you alright? Pure, where'd you go?
so he goes up the inside of James here. This is an interesting battle here for 15th. What is it? 14th and 15th. There we go. As Pure goes up the inside here because Pure has got to make the soft tyres last as best he can here before obviously has to get off them. But back we go to James again. This is what occurred here. That's an absolute corner cut going through there. And very, very sideways, and he just does a little drift in the corner. Again, very, very close there. That was actually pretty lucky here, and actually Toddy just goes straight up the inside there. He's not mucking around at all there on James. But here's the other incident close call, I should say, between myself and Pure. So obviously I was trying to make sure, give each other room. And yeah, definitely Pure definitely gave me enough room there, but I had no harms there whatsoever. Probably it was maybe
plenty of space.
Approaching the pit window. You'll be on
it was a little bit of a close call, but yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Really is. Plebs getting close to the rear end there of Crossy. BK has come into the pit lane very early on, so he wants to get off the soft compounded tyres very, very quickly. As probably there's a few others actually going to take advantage of this as well. But I think the race leader's still out there at the current moment here, so we're still in P13 the current moment, as Toddy says the fastest lap of the race. We said another PB. BK Iconic Q, I think, was another one that pitted as well, but we made a couple of spots there. With all those guys coming into the pit lane. Here's James getting it massively wrong there, going into the pit lane, and gets a 5-second time penalty for his trouble there. So that's not really going ideal. And I think worse to come was that his teammate actually pitted in a little earlier there. So that's probably the first time we've seen the crews had to literally go back in, get another set of tyres, and then service the other car. So not ideal position there at Carlin there for sure there, but we run very wide there. I was doing that quite a bit there, and I actually shifted up very early just to make sure I sort of didn't get a little bit of a time advantage there, because obviously the lower revs per se. But I think the race leaders now come in as these two are going close again, as Crossy goes very little bit wide there, but only just like the slightest of touch there. Is Pure getting off those soft compounded tyres and onto the hards. There's probably a few others are in the same boat. Needs to be held a little bit here behind the ART. That's Proximity Ross, as well as Dr. Dre, and there's somebody else there as well. As that was a little glitch there. I don't know what on earth happened there, but anyway, it'll gain us probably a few positions here as all those guys are in. Proximity Ross got Alex in there as well, and Iceman as well. So we're up into to P6 now as we get a strategy change here as we pick up our first time penalty of the race by just running slightly right here. I think my Jeff wanted me to come in on about lap 9, but I was planning to go for as long as I dare. James, hang on, son. Comes through Maggins and Beckers. That's definitely not the line you want to go through there. But that is just keep it straight there. Pretty much not a full 360 spin, but probably half at 180. But anyway, back we go here to these two battling away for the lead effectively. Because of course these guys will go pretty much the same in the similar boat as me, because they definitely want to go long in here. And obviously two teammates are pretty close to each other as well, Crossy and Schmitty at the Sauber. So you want to be careful that you don't double stack those two cars. But I think they might have been in the same party actually, so I think they were probably trying to work it out what lap they were going to pit in. But this was the close battle here between these two. Little race lead. On board we go with Crossy. Probably would have seen with Plebs on board here. There's a little bit of a sniff there, but not quite close enough to the end. So Plebs does take the lead for now, but probably how much longer will he hang on to it? As my teammate gone for a half spin. And Pure, I think, had to take avoiding action there. But
I was thinking lap 9.
As he gets by Proximity Ross as well. As I say that, Schmitty just asking when he wants to pit, when Crossy's going to pit, and telling him, I think, what lap he wants to pit him, as these two are pretty close to each other here. Don't want to obviously tangle, because these guys are in a pretty decent position in the Constructors' Championship. As Schmitty goes right up the inside there at Brooklands. Runs a little bit deep going to the corner, but I think he might have to move down. Yes, he does. But back we go to our point of view with an interesting line coming through Cops there. It's no harm, no foul. We didn't even get a warning for our troubles either, but a little bit rear end loss coming out of Stowe there, but thankfully we just managed to save it. It was a little hard in mouth moment, I've got to say, but okay, back we go to Pure Gold, putting a move on Alex there on the Campos car. I think Big Donga could not race. That's why Alex is in the car. He's the sort of backup driver at Campos. They can go to us on the starting lap 10 here as Toddy and Plebs are coming to the pit lane. So we now move ourselves up into P3, setting personal best. So the tyres didn't seem too bad at this point here. Here is the pit stops for the Prema team, with Plebs going on to the soft compounded tyres. The way he goes, just managing to hang on in front of Schmitty there. Forgot to mention, Schmitty I think was another one that come into the pit lane. But there's Iceman there on the hard compounded tyres. So if anything, I think Plebs has sort of gained a bit. They gained a bit more now with Iceman going very wide, going through turn 3 there. he might have the much better drive here with the fresh set of soft compounded tyres. Might have it done here, and he'll get DRS as well, so he should easily pull away here on the Wellington Straight, I think this one's called. The Schmitty is going to follow as well, so he might go for a double move here up the inside. That was pretty close to cover there. As now these two side by side here into Luffield. Still going to continue on through Luffield here. Who wants to blink first here going into Cops? I don't think you can get two cars through Cops. I could be wrong. I think Schmitty just pops in behind for the time being. Plebs does hang on for now, but back to us. We continue on for another lap here as now Crossy and Spilly have now come into the pit lane, and pretty decent recovery actually for Spilly to get back up inside, the top 10. I think he should be able to get a decent top 10 result here as he managed to keep away from it as we hang on for dear life. Coming through turn 3, that was definitely not ideal coming through there. You can probably tell that maybe the tyres are starting to wear out quite a bit, so that wasn't ideal, especially. I'm probably losing, obviously, I've lost time there with that little spin there, but that definitely won't help me later on in the race there anyway. But he's looked at Crossy's pit stop here. There's Billy there in the Trident. There's onto the soft compounded tyres he goes here, and away he goes. It'll be interesting to see. He manages to stay ahead of Spilly, obviously, but interesting to see where he comes out here with the leaders. I think it just pops into like P3, effective P3 here, as he just manages to keep ahead of Iceman here, so should maintain what will be effective P3 once, obviously, I pit. But yeah, I basically led a lap around Britain, but now we're going to dive it into the pit lane here, so get it braked slowly, and obviously I didn't know exactly where to brake there because obviously someone took out the speed limit sign, and someone being James, but anyway, onto the soft, off the hards, and onto the soft compounded tyres. Pretty decent stop there, nice, and away we go here. Now, probably, I don't know whether I would have been close with someone there if I didn't have that little half spin. I probably would have. Maybe I think someone's had an offer to turn 1. I think it's Toddy actually has had another spin at turn 1. So he's not having the greatest race of all. He was having a decent recovery, but now it's sort of gone a little bit pear-shaped there as we now pop back out in P9 here, as actually BK's actually also left the session as well. He has been having a few internet dramas as well, or his internet seems to have a few dropouts along the way, but we get back going again.
They're on old hards. Their tyres are 6 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:44.1. They have a time penalty of 10.0.
That was the first I knew of the 10-second time penalty. I didn't know at the time whether it was actually 10 seconds like with multiple penalties, but obviously now you've seen now there was just the 10 seconds for one for that one penalty anyway. But there's Schmitty going around the outside now, which will be for the effective race lead here. And these two have sort of bolted a little bit from crossing behind. Here's Plevs. It's a little not quite close enough here. Right onto the back of the gearbox of that Sauber Junior team by Charu. That's managing to hang on for the time being. But a lap later, he's got him pretty much lined up here for position here at the back of the hangar straight. DRS open. Obviously no ERS because that's the F2 cars. It's completely different, and of course the stock setup, we're pretty much all in the same boat. But there goes Plez around the outside, pretty much did what Schmitty did the previous lap, and gets the effective race lead back. So he's looking good here with a couple more laps to go here as we start. We're going to go for a lap here actually on our, it's going to be our fastest lap here obviously on the soft compounded tyres here. So through turn 1 at Abbey, pretty nice stable run through there here, and I actually didn't at this point in time, when I saw BK had left the session there, I actually didn't want BK to leave because I was sitting in P9 at the time here, but obviously with BK now leaving, it'll definitely put us at P8. And obviously, if you haven't already know, or if you don't follow Formula 2, if you finish P8 in the sprint race, they reverse the top 8. So if I stayed in this position until the end of the race, I would have.
Good job, nice overtake.
Thank you, Jeff, as always, even though the car was a disconnected car there. But yeah, if we stayed in this position at the end of the race, I would have started from reverse grid pole basically for the sprint race. So, but at this current rate, Pure Gold I think will have that pole position pretty much sewn up here because of his amount of time penalties through here as we fly through Maggots and Beckett's here. But I mean, I wanted to give it a try to maybe catch up to Pure. Honestly, I didn't want to really pass him here because obviously I knew with the amount of time penalties that he had, but obviously there's a bit of a gap behind as well, I think, behind BK, so I was even thinking about maybe dropping my pace a little bit here, but I thought that it'd just be silly there and I'd probably be caught out, but anyway, as we're now nearing the final couple of quarters, we're definitely going to improve our personal best of this race. I think we're about half a second to sector 1, 1.3 in the second sector, 1.7 here in the third sector with a 41.812. Not overly the fastest lap overall, obviously, because I think BK's still got that at the moment here, but you see we're really closing into the back here of Pure Gold here for position 7 here. Getting right up close. We read it very deep there at Brooklands as he gets very, very taily there, so probably nearing the back end maybe of the hard compound tyres. Should be able to get it to the end here. We are really closing him in here. We've got the DRS open here. Have a little face here for a little look up the inside, and we nearly slam into the back of him there. That was probably my little error of judgment there. I just misjudged the braking marker at that point in time, especially with the line that I had at the time there. But I tried catching up to him later in the race, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough in the end. So Plebs wins the feature race here at the British Grand Prix, but we're not. We're in position 8, but obviously once everything's corrected here, we'll finish up in P7 in the end because of Pure Gold's 10-second time penalty. So we'll get into the highlights of the sprint race in a second. But so the KFC car gets the victory here, so with Plebs getting the race victory, and it's Schmitty, I think, in P2, and somehow I think Spilly ended up in P3 here. So yeah, that's pretty decent recovery drive, if I say so, for Spilly. But we'll get into the final overall results here for the feature race, and then we'll get stuck into the sprint race. So Plebs wins it for the feature race ahead of Schmitty and Spilly, who gets Crossy there for P3, and Crossy in 4th. Iceman in P5. Iconic Hugh in P6 themselves. Pure Gold, Proximity Ross and Alex ran it out your top 10, and as James Cruz was way down the order, a couple of laps down, I think. Don't think anybody DNF'd here, but let's get into the next one.
Okay, your race will be compromised if you're too aggressive into turn 1. We need to stay out of trouble today.
That's definitely the plan, Jeff. So welcome, guys and girls, to the sprint race version of our Race Spec F1 Esports F2 Pacific Series. Again, it's a bit overcast, but probably a little bit more cloud than the first race, but it will again pretty much be similar to the last race as well. But we're starting from position 2 as we set off for the formation lap.
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down.
Thank you, Jeff, as always. Now, I just wanted, for this one, obviously, I just wanted to try and beat Pure Gold off the line and get the lead basically into turn 1. It was probably going to be a long shot, especially when you saw what Pure's start was in the previous race. So it was going to be difficult, but I had no idea at the time what his race starts were going to be like. And of course, it's the Dams 1-3 at the moment with the start of this race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We're just waiting for everybody to get themselves lined up, which they all are. We'll have Pure Gold's point of view as well from the top right of screens. Here we go for the sprint race here. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Silverstone for the sprint race, and it's a decent start. Pure Gold manages to hang on to the momentum here as he goes for pole position and gets the lead into turn 1 here as we go through his teammate, Iconic Q there. So that was a very lucky moment through there. But Pure Gold definitely leads at the moment here, but we're just managing to hang on in front of his teammate here as we go through turn 4 here. Might have the inside lows. You can get very sideways off. There's a tiny little bit of contact there. So we run very wide there. Must point out as well, everybody's on the stock setup, so everybody's pretty much stuck on 6.6 wings. So now we're up the inside goes Crossy here for P3. We're trying everything we can to hang on through Brooklands and Lovefield. We'll have the inside line here. There's a little bit of lag as well. It seems to happen a little bit. My internet seems to be okay in the feature race, but not so much in the sprint race here as we sort of ghost a little bit through Crossy there as we'll try to avoid the back end there. As here comes Spilly as well trying to make a move. I don't think he'd try around the outside. So we just make a slight little bit of contact there, but Spilly does get the move done for P4. As here comes Schmitty going for a ball mover in the and Sir Mag to Beckett. So he gets the move done as sort of our line gets ruined a little bit there. But we just managed to hang on. Now we'll probably be under attack here.
That was a bad start, but don't overreact. We can salvage this.
Yeah, we've got to try and salvage as best we can. And probably it should point out as well, top 10 in the feature race get points, and top 8 in the sprint race get points as well. So there goes Iceman. Got put off a little bit there because I didn't expect him to go for for the move there, but as he goes around the outside here, we have to hang on for this position here. We go way deep and just managed to hang on. We're supposed to probably sort of helped Toddy out a little bit there, so he's gone up into P7. So I think Pure Gold's still leading the way after lap 1. There's Toddy behind in P7. So we've jumped 4 positions off the start here. We run very, very wide there, pick up our first track limits warning there. But now we have to defend down the inside here, but up the inside goes Toddy's. We both going deep and managed to hang on, and Toddy gets the spot off myself, so he's back up into P6 and ourselves back into P7. Hopefully he can keep it a bit more of a cleaner race compared to what happened in the first race here, but we're sort of hanging on to the back here as I think Pure Gold's still leading the way here. We're still hanging behind Toddy for the time being as DRS is now enabled. I think there's yellow flag action behind, so there's a bit of dramas in the back part as looks like another bit of yellow flags on the final corner. Not entirely sure. Looks like maybe an ART car, mate, possibly, and not entirely 100% sure. Just going by the colour of the dots there, but it's a bit difficult there. I think that's James at the back that's had another spin there, but we're sticking in behind here, watching this battle here. Toddy going up the inside here, crossing into Brooklyn, so I'll get the corner names right one of these days, even though I've got a map right in front of me. But anyway, Toddy does get the move done for P5 in this race, crossing back to P6. So, okay, let's have a look at the starts for from Crossy from P5. A nice, decent start off the line there. Also alongside Iceman there. You see that we're sort of, you can see where we lag through. Iconic Q there for P2, well P2 at the time, but we just managed to hang on here. As you can see, we sort of run it a little bit too deep there, but again, probably got on the power a little bit too early there, and it was just a slight bit of contact that put me off a little bit there, and Crossy obviously will take a little bit more advantage here. That's up into Brooklands we go, so we should have the inside move here. So well, I thought it was going to be a decent weekend, probably not ideal at this rate, but we've still got some points anyway, so the points streak is sort of continuing on as there's Crossy going right around the outside. I think eventually get the move done as there goes Billy. Again, I was lagging a little bit there, so they're probably a bit off. My car was probably a bit off there, a little bit there. So anyway, here we go with Plevs, who's just a couple of spots behind. 17 the action in the mid-pack here as there goes Alex trying to go around the outside at turn 1, not really passing the maneuver there. He goes, I think he does the crisscross. No, sorry, that's Toddy. That's my bad there. I thought that looked like Alex there, but no, that's Toddy. Yeah, he made a little bit of contact there through turn 3, but they managed to avoid any major dramas, and Toddy going spinning off again like he did in the first race, but now he's going to try and go around the outside here of Iceman. So Plevs, I think, just checking for damage. Doesn't look like there's anything, and the engine is definitely a little bit hot as Iceman goes in deep, very deep. Plevs has a little look up the inside there, and again it looks at the inside here for left field, but not quite close enough there in the end. All right, back we go to James Cruz back in P17. Oh yeah, we should point out as well, Banana Cake Pie did join midway through the last session, so he's racing in this session in the, I think he's in the UNI Virtuoso team. Well, the other car, because Kick Butt Kiwi wasn't here or something, I can't remember. It is James trying to look around the outside of a teammate, who was a little bit close for comfort there. I don't know if there's any contact or what, or just lost the back end. Again, he's getting pretty close to his teammate. That's not what you want to have dramas there. The contact with your teammate is probably the last thing you want on this race, but there's myself going very, very wide. Coming through the final couple of corners there. Oh, very, very. Didn't know which way to go there. Sort of Iceman obviously put off a little bit behind me, but and then a bit of close action there as now BK goes right in the outside again here at Stowe, and he manages to get the spot off Plebs, so Plebs back down to the 10th place. As you see all the battles going on ahead here as we go ahead very deep. Then Toddy sends it up the inside goes right round the outside. There is contact between he and Iceman, so that would probably explain a lot. He'll lose momentum here with Iceman. So there goes BK round the outside as Alex tries to do the exact same thing, but no, doesn't succeed there. And now back we go to Crossy here. He's got the Trident of Spilly here, and also Schmitty there by the looks of it. So Schmitty might be going for 2 for 1 here if he can try. He's got by Spilly here. So what happens here with because these two are both teammates into Brooklyn as we go. I think he'll get the move. Yes, he does. Here comes Spilly up the inside. There's a little bit of contact there. The hand of anger goes up in the cockpit for Crossy. He might just hang on for the time. He just gets him a squeeze there and just hang on to P4 for the time being. Right, there we go. Back to Plebs. There's Iceman running very, very wide there. And I think he's conceded the spot there to Plebs. So back up into 9th place for Plebs as here's James going through the final couple of corners. Oh, there's contact between he and a false equation there. As he just manages to hang on for the time being. So this probably is who ran very, very wide there coming through the final couple of corners there. Not exactly the yellow flag situation, but there goes false equation up the inside. Pretty simple there. Is James, that's a little bit close to comfort there. Has just got himself a bit of front wing damage there. So that definitely will not be helping him throughout this race here. He's got it deep and goes into the back. A false equation here. Sort of straightens him up a little bit there and cheekily gets the spot. But I don't think false equation would like that too much at all there. Back we go to Crossy. He's still under attack here. Spilly is very sideways off getting on the power there at Stowe. And now concedes the spot to Spilly. So up into 4th place goes Spilly and Crossy back into 5th place. A bit further back on lap 3. This is Plebs trying to get back here at BK. They've already had their fair share of battles in the feature race and the sprint race. Sends up the inside here at Stowe. But BK will try to do the crisscross here, and I think he's done it, but he's on the wrong side here for the next corner. He can get hanging around the outside. He might be able to do it here. These two are going side by side, giving each other plenty of space here. But, they're still going side by side here, and I think Plebs just hangs on for the time being with a little run wider to pick up the track limits warning there as well. So back we go here on to lap 5 here. So we run very wide there, and again shifting up gears to make sure we didn't gain an advantage there at all here, but
Less than a second separate you. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 43.2. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap.
Just getting an update there on Crossy, and pretty much, well, from my point of view, not much really happened here. He was sort of like stuck in a, well, not really a big train. Well, you could say a bit of a train here, but it's sort of like a slipstream chain as Alex is now retired from the Grand Prix in the pit lane, so it's not been an ideal race for him. But back we go here to begin lap 8 here, and there's someone who's on the charge here who's actually Plebs behind, who's just at the fastest lap of the race here. So now we've got to try and put our foot down here. We've still got right behind these guys, that's Iconic Hugh there in the foreground as we get very close to the back end of Crossy there. So we try to push, and obviously we'll keep with it. Obviously we've still been in his DRS, so this will definitely help out things, but won't be helping for Iconic Hugh. Meanwhile, his teammates battling away here for the race lead here with Schmitty for Brooklands. And Schmitty gets the move done. Schmitty tried, I think, go for the move up the inside, but Bjorn's got that pretty well covered there in the end there. So, all right, back we go to our point of view. Down the hangar straight we go as we did a little bit of a lock up there. And I knew Plebs was coming, and I had a feeling he might be going for a move here. He might actually try it here going into the final couple of corners. He goes at the inside and make sure we give him plenty of room. There's contact, and I think Plebs has gone around. Yes, he has. His yellow flag's out. We get a warning there for a collision. Don't understand why, but
We're starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
Well, most definitely, because the sprint race, you don't need to make a pit stop there. But yeah, BK's put himself up to 9th place. But here we go again. This was the battle for the race lead here again. As Schmitty goes the long way around. As he goes, he'll have to go deep here as Pure tries to do the crisscross. The corner. These two are very, very close here. This is effective. I don't know about the penalty situation, but Schmitty just hangs on for the time being, and Pure will have to find another way around.
My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad.
There's a place just going, my bad, and you'll see why in a second here. He did apologise to me after the race here. But, yeah, when I was thinking at the time, I gave him plenty of room here, but, yeah, he's just gone in a little bit too deep, locked the brakes, and, yeah, just pretty much slammed into me, and, yeah. We only actually lost the one spot here, and he manages to just keep ahead of his teammate here. So not too bad overall there. As you get a slow-mo view here as through the final couple of corners here. And I knew Plez was coming here, so I made sure I gave him plenty of room here. You can see the wide line I'm taking here, but yeah, like I said, he went in deep, and yeah, fortunately for him, he spun. Only lost the one spot there. Like I said, he did apologise after the race there, so that's all good there, Plebs. But
Yeah, BK has 3 seconds.
back we go again
Lovely.
to Pure Gold and Schmitty. He's getting pretty annoyed there, Schmitty, because Pure's going to go right around the outside of this time. Well, Schmitty keeps the nose in there just, but I think Pure now gets the race lead back for now, for the time being at least. But now it's a lap 9 here. You see it's the battle sort of heating up. Well, start into lap 9 onto lap 10 here. I think it's going to set our personal best here, 42.9 on that lap, which, I mean, wasn't too bad. Not quite our quickest compared to the first one.
The gap to the car behind is 2.9 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 43.6. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Okay, so BK's got a time penalty, so it might be critical of where we are currently in P7. This battle is definitely heating up, and I could just sense that there was going to be a move very, very soon between Crossy trying to get the move done on Iconic Hughes. They've we've made contact as well. I was not happy at the time because unfortunately I finished Crossy off there.
So we've been looking at the damage.
And so
we think you should be okay to continue.
as we now get a 3-second time penalty as well, so that's not going to help our cause at all here. So now we're battling for position here with BK. And Iconic Hugh has managed to somehow get away with it. I've now got an invite from Hold Up Man Dan. I don't know why, but let's just have a look here and see what happens here. I think Crossy was pretty close enough here as he locks. He's got it just a little bit too deep here, and unfortunate. I was pretty much at the wrong place, wrong time there, and unfortunately I finished off Crossy there. So his apologies to Crossy about the finishing gear off bit there, but I mean, it was out of my control, unfortunately. I mean, it probably, at the time I didn't know which way to go here. I was actually going to go left, but I probably went the wrong way with that one. So, but in the end, yeah, it's not the way it ended up now. And now we've got front wing damage here for the final lap of this sprint race. As Jeff's still giving me nuts information here. I've just told him to just shut up at this stage so I can just going to stay focused for the rest of this race. As, I think Crossy may have sustained front wing damage as well. I think I missed it actually on his point of view, but I think he may have got front wing damage, and these two have been pretty close to each other all race. I think players will go up the inside here. We'll have to go around the outside here now at Lovefield. These two are pretty close to each other here. We'll grab it on board for Crossy in a moment or two, but he just manages to hang on. Yes, Plebs. So he's up into 8th place now. So the recovery driver's done. He's done a pretty decent job all around for Plebs. Here it is again up the inside here. Crossy wasn't going to give up without a fight here, even though I think he's definitely might have a little bit of front wing damage. Probably a bit hard to tell, maybe down there at the front wing, but going to go right around the outside there and just has to slot in behind for the time being. He did get pretty close here going into the cops, but don't think it was close enough there for a move. So Crossy, I think, unfortunately, is going to be finishing potentially outside the points there. It's well, back to our point of view we go. Now we're just going to basically just stay in front here of BK. But you can see that proximity arrow. It is getting pretty close here, and I'm trying to manage this front wing damage as best I can here. I don't think we're going to catch Iconic Hugh for the final, or for P5. So we just have to massively defend here for BK just to make sure he doesn't get this P6 off us here. As he's going to go around the outside here. I just literally have to send it here just to keep him behind as best I can. Just managed to make it through there, through the corner. Now he's only got a final couple of corners left here. As something's happened to Schmitty. We try to hang it around the outside, but just not enough in the inside. We're not going to finish in P6 on track. It'll be P7 in the end there, but think after penalties, we do drop to position 9, so we don't even get any points in that second race at all there. So there's actually go to pure golders. I think Schmitty actually had a bit of a moment there. He's done it all by himself there, and James, I don't know what on earth James is doing there, but Pure does cross the line first, but this is his reaction.
Fuck, that's annoying. Honestly, James.
Oh, Billy won. Get fucked.
You fucking serious?
Not overly happy at all there. Was a Pure Gold. So was Billy in the end that got the race victory. I think after penalties, of course. So it's Pure Gold is P2, and I think it was Toddy that ended up in P3, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get confirmation of that in the results in a moment. But there's everybody having a bit of champagne there at the end. So we can build up a nice bit of XP. We're getting close to, I think, silver rank on the PS4, but there's the final results. So Spilly does win ahead of Pure Gold and Toddy in P3. Schmitty, unfortunately, end up in P4. Iconic Q in... Again, I apologise if I got the gamer tag wrong in P5. Plebs recovered pretty nice to come home in P6, obviously with no penalties. We've got Crossy, then BK, rounded out the points, and ourselves, and my teammate as well. We haven't seen much of him. Finished up in P10, then he go all the way down there. There's the round results. So Spilly wins the round ahead of Plebs and Schmitty. We finished P9 for the round, so pretty decent points all around for, I think it was P7 in their end anyway. But anyway, there's the standings. So 22 points between Toddy and Spilly. So the gap did shrink a little bit there. I think we're still P17, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bit hard to tell from the graphic here, but I think that's the case. Sauber Junior team still have a bit more, they've got a bit more of a margin now over you and I, Virtuosi, with 47 points between those two. We've got Dams there at P3. ART and Trident equal on points there, as Prema's actually a point behind. And went obviously P9 still with 11 points now, so we're into double digits for the first time. But there's the overall results of who did what, who scored how many points at what track and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, it started out okay, but yeah, just wasn't quite good enough in the end, unfortunately, with only a few points. But anyway, that is it for this round of the British Grand Prix in the F2 Pacific Series for Race Spec. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more Race Spec F1 Esports content on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description. Plus, I'll leave the links down below to everything Race Spec, their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel. Plus, I'll leave the link to the live stream as well if you want to go check that out. And also go check out everybody else's POVs that I've used as well. Their channels will be down below in the description. But yeah, until the next time, which will be the Hungarian Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken, which is a track we've had plenty of knowledge around there as well, with a few certain dive bombs as well. So that should be interesting. But until then, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.